know how to check the oil in a Model T?
I do not.
Grab a pair. As soon as Makay gets here, we'll get the carburetor on it and get it running. Alrighty, I'm working on a couple of Model T carburetors for this little hot rod Model T. And everything I got's pretty skunky and rusty. Anyway, let's go and see what we got going. So what I've got is a little muriatic acid. I got this thing just kind of sitting here bubbling. You can see it working on the rust there. Problem is it's working on all the brass and all the other soft metals. But I need that rust off of there, so I'm going to continue this and keep a close eye on it so I don't lose all my brass in the process, and get that cleaned up, and hopefully we can build one carburetor out of that pile of junk on the bench to make this Model T run. Not that I need any more Model Ts. I mean, I got my Model A, Model T, another Model T, more Model Ts. How many Model Ts does a guy need? I don't know. I've got 5 and I don't think I have enough.
Makay's back from the land of helicopters and snow and ice and
There was no snow yet, but it's coming.
Pennsyltucky. And he's kind of fallen in love with this little car right here. He's like petting it and touching it and thinking that
It's got bullet holes in it.
Like that. I don't know if those are bullet holes or if they somebody took a chop hammer to it. I didn't see no through and through, but you never know. These old ass cars, if they could tell a story, right? I mean, this car is probably a 26, and it's not quite 100 years old, but it looks 100 years old. So today we're going to try to make it run. I don't know what we're up against, but I guess we ought to peek in that gas tank. And I did take the crank. See here, we can put the crank in here and it turns over. It tries to drive away, but we'll jack a wheel up and I don't know.
Can't really see anything down in there. No coils.
That's kind of a hollow box of bad wires and crusty parts. So what we're going to do, we're going to try to build an ignition for it and put a carburetor on it and see if we can make it run. Alrighty, Makay just finished tightening the carburetor.
Collaborator.
And I was just opening this box that I got from Dwight Wilsey from Greenville, Michigan. Dwight, thank you for this cool gift of stuff. Vintage Ford magazine. This is going to be Makay right here when we get this thing running. He'll be on the old tow truck. And Makay was just asking me how that ignition thing kind of worked. Well, there you go, Makay. There's an exploded view.
That's it, right there.
This little rubberator rubs around on those 4 actuators, and those actuate the spark out of these hot rod Model T coil things in this here box.
You got the pin and your little sleeve there.
Yeah, so that thing can only go one way. This cam is pretty much specific and it's timed, and I don't know, Henry Ford made that pretty simple. The
That's
firing
cool.
order on a Model T, it starts here. It's 1, 2, 4, 3.
1, 2, 4,
That's
3.
simple. 1, 2, 4, 3. You memorized it. You got it memorized. All right.
Oh,
So
apparently Henry couldn't count correctly,
should have been 1, 2, 3, 4.
but
So yeah, it's 1, 2, 4, 3. 1, 2, 4, 3. Jumps up and down the crankshaft. Probably why they break.
it alternates. So
Yeah, alternates. So what we're trying to do, we got a little situation here. We're trying to make us a rod to run this here timing situation, and I don't know, I don't think any of them are really right here. I think this is more like throttle. Like this was probably supposed to go through here, and probably some bending required, but yeah, we're gonna have to move this actuator on because it's in the wrong place. So we'll move it down below here, and then we'll bend this rod around and see if we can make that work for throttle, because this is the throttle and this is the timing. So we want to retard the timing all the way up. This is the timing lever, and this is probably correct for timing. It's just all bent. Somebody thought it was bent wrong and straightened it. Actually, I don't know. That one might actually be throttle.
Should look through those papers. It might have a picture.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look in the book. So where are you at there?
You want to go up or down?
Let's go down. Does that go down?
It will. I mean, yeah, it's in.
That's in right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that would be kind of up over here, and then that's too short. It comes up from the bottom over here. That rod's too short for that. So we'll make that rod our timing rod, I believe. Watch out for that tire. Okay,
It's gonna get me.
That tire will grab you. So what we got to do, there's a way that it's going to need to be twisted, but there's a way it gets bent. So it has a pretty good arch in it here, and then it comes down and curls back and hooks in there. You'll just have to kind of start bending on it, shorten it up. But between here and that bolt, that needs to be 2.5 inches, and then that will be fully retarded in the up position, and it should just slide together and hook up. So this needs a pretty good arch in it.
Okay, so that won't be too bad, because it looks like when you arch this up, it's going to cock this back down into position.
Yeah. So you work on that a little bit. I think if I've got a sample of one, I mean, I guess you could look at the 15, but you'll be able to bend it around. Well, Makay's wore out a vice rod here, putting this here timing rod on because we didn't have the right one, so he made it. But yeah, it's kind of complex because it has to clear the hose, has to go up over the column, and then has to be adjusted by length right here so that that timing can be right.
So it doesn't hit the little commutator things when it...
Yeah, and short this circuit out. I worked on the fuel line. I've got fuel here. We got fuel valve tank is good, ignition is on, spark plugs are hopefully good. Do you know how to check the oil in a Model T?
I do not.
Grab a pair of pliers, I'll show you. You'll love this. So get down underneath right there. See those two valves?
Ah, the petcocks.
Okay, so open the top one. And you got nothing. Close that one. Open the bottom one. Yeah, it's got no oil in it. Okay, does it have a drain plug?
Yeah, it's got a plug in the bottom.
Okay. Well, let's, I'll get some oil and dump in, and we'll fill it up till it runs out down there. So, open the
top one.
I'd say open the bottom one. And we'll start there.
See how low it is?
And the good thing is, old Stanley, name's Stanley? What was his name? Stan. Right?
I think so.
He gave us oil. So we got oil. We got some oil here. Alright. See how much of it I can spill. Tell me if it starts leaking anywhere other than that thing. Once that starts dripping, close it. And I'll go a little bit more and we'll call it good.
I don't see it running out. Okay, it's out of the bottom one.
Okay, I'm going to dump just a little bit more in and then we'll call that good. Close both those up and that's oil. We got oil. Hook up some kind of throttle so that we got control of the throttle. I don't know, maybe we'll just put a spring on it and call it good and adjust the idle up, and then we can make the throttle rod, because we're going to have to pull that throttle rod out of the steering column to fix it properly. You are. Ooh, it's patootering. It's patooter-tootering. What? Not as easy as it looks, is it?
No.
What happened there, but so when it fires this time, I need you to grab some timing, and I'll adjust on the carburetor. Set that there camera right there and catch some of this craziness. Go ahead. That's it, huh? That's all you got? Makay made that easy. Now if that 15 would have started like that, that would have been awesome. It sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna grab a heat gun. We'll let it cool off and run another heat cycle, and we'll see how it starts the second time. First time was easy from where I was sitting. Well, it's a new day of working on junk in the shop. We're working on this today. It's a 1926 Model T, and it's got a broken off pin over here. We need to fix that. It's got some loose wheels. I've got another set of wheels right there we're going to put on it that have tires. Try to make this thing roll. So Makay should be along anytime to help. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, this thing's getting crazy now. So what I've done, this spindle, the top of this is like a bolt. I guess I can show you on the new one. This thread's down in, this is threaded in here, and then it's held with a lock nut on here. What's happened is this is broke off. It's basically hollow, the oil goes down through it. So what I did was I took a die grinder and I cut it off because it's sloppy enough. This goes up and down enough I could get a blade in. So I've got both ends cut off. Now what I'm going to do is knock this pin out of here, and then I'm going to unscrew this, and then I'll knock this out, and then I'll clean it and ream it, and I don't know, we may put a bushing or a washer in that to tighten it up, but we'll get the new pin installed now that I've got the other one cut off. So this should unscrew with good luck. I may have to heat it up, but Still no sign of Makay, but I got work for him to do. Anyway, we got the front up. It's back on wheels. Now we're going to put jack stands under the rear. Get this Ruxtol rear axle. This is a Ruxtol 2-speed. It's the whole reason I bought this car, or I wanted it, traded for it, and we'll get that Ruxtol out and put a standard axle in it and some wheels on the rear. I don't know, we may be driving this thing today. Well, I just went and got me a breakfast sandwich, and look who showed up.
Morning.
So Makay missed the front end part of this project, but I don't care. We saved the best for Makay right here. Get this rear axle out of here. Yeah, so I guess what we ought to do is get some of them tall jack stands and put on the frame. I don't know, I kind of want to pull these hubs too before we get it clear out, but I guess we can do that after.
Just pull the hubs first.
You know what we might do? We might roll this thing out of this hole. I don't know, I guess it don't really matter. But we're going to need to put it on the frame on jack stands. And it's kind of hard because you put it on jack stands here, it falls here. Well, I'm wondering if maybe we ought to hang the thing from something. I don't know. We'll figure that out here in a minute. But I guess we can start by taking the brake rods off. And they might as well come off complete. So okay, we got it moved up here. Okay, is fumbling a socket together here to get this thing off. But yeah, this is the Ruxtol 2-speed setup here, and I know it's kind of locked up, but I'm going to rebuild it. And these spring bushings are pretty much clapped out. That's not good. We're gonna redo all that. Get rid of this spare tire mount. Probably shorten these in because Makay, he wants to make a pickup out of this thing, so should be pretty cool. This is gonna be his Havasu pickup cruiser. His jalopy. What do you think? Did you find a socket?
Well, looks like we got two different sizes, so it's a good thing I grabbed two.
Alright, well, I'll get some heat going on this thing, and we'll see if we can get those off. Makay is struggling with a 100-year-old bolt that hasn't been removed in probably 100 years. It's frustrating him. He's getting serious now. about to release his anger on it. Like a Jedi Knight. We've moved inside the shop. Maybe we'll straighten up this wheel. This axle's bent over here. Of course that wheel's bent too. This wheel's pretty rough. That wheel might shake a little.
Well, maybe
Just
if you
saying.
put the wheel on the right way to oppose the bend in the axle.
But then when the wheel goes round, it's back at the bottom. Okay, balancing helicopter blades again. All right. Would you look at that? Let's tap them bolts out of there and see if we can hook into that somehow. What do you think, Makay?
For being as old as it is, it's actually easier to change the rear end than it is in your truck.
Yeah, well, you pull 2 U-bolts and 2 brake lines and
4 bolts in the front. And it's on the ground.
well, let's roll that thing back. So this is the 2-speed Ruxstol. That's kind of clapped out, but yeah, this doesn't shift. This is locked up. This is gonna need some work, but we're gonna take about half them leaves out. Ooh, you all right?
There's a hoist right there.
Yeah, it's metal too. But yeah, we're gonna take about half them leaves out when we rebuild it and make it ride smoother. But for right now, we'll clean up our little mess here. Okay, now you gotta do is put this back in, Makay. What the heck? Oh yeah. And you may have to turn it from back there. I watched the video of them doing this at the factory and it looked simple. Go ahead and turn it a little.
It's not turning.
Okay. How about the other side?
Not turning.
Okay. You're gonna have to go turn the motor. No, I got this. Just let me. And it only needs to turn. Hold on. It only needs to turn top to the driver's side just a little. Good. Hand me a light off the toolbox. I can't see now. I've been looking into the sun here.
Can't see.
I'm looking into a black hole now. Turn it just a little tiny bit more, and I mean just barely. Good. It's in. Push forward on the rear end now. Okay. Now what I'll do, I need a hammer or something to knock this ring loose. We'll let the car down. We'll bolt this back together. And then I'll take some angle out of it. Up on these stands. And then I'll go hunt the brake shoes. We lost the brake shoes for this side. We have to reline those brake shoes. Not sure how we're going to attack that, but we'll figure it out. I got some linings off from the old bands and stuff. Actually, this one's got lining on one side. Just needs it on the bottom. So we'll get those relined. We have some brakes and some wheels. Ready for a battery. Oh, it needs a starter, doesn't it? It's got a bad starter. What we need to do is charge the mag on it. Then we could just run it with nothing. You just give it a big old whirl on the hand crank. You'd be good to go. All right. let's lift this thing up. Grab that axle over there. And what we're gonna do is lift it like so. I'm gonna go ahead a little bit higher. That way we can work on the spring. Go ahead and finish tightening all those up, and then we'll get that locked in. Well, Makay's got the rear end back in now, so what we're doing now is cutting a couple of leaves. These leaves would normally be on top of the spring, and we're going to put them underneath for the spacer, so this will tighten up. And we'll try to get away with 2 of them, but we may end up putting all 3 of them in. So what I'm going to do is just take these over to the chop saw. And we'll just cut them off. And that'll soften the ride up, lower the car, and hopefully it'll still handle. Not be too soft. Well, we're hitting the final stretch of the spring mechanism. It did lower it a little bit. It'll lower it a lot more when he puts the bed on it. Does your phone just bark at me?
It did.
It's got that all tightened up. We still got to put the oiler on there. So we're working on this shoe right here. This one has lining on it. It's pretty dirty, but I'll clean it up. This one's missing the lining. So I was going through my junk out back and I found this old band. So Makay is going to remove the rivets, remove the lining, try to save at least 3 of the rivets because it takes 3 rivets to put it on. And we're going to reline this shoe with wore out transmission lining. So So Makay's got our welting or belting or whatever you want to call that, our lining all ready. So now what we're going to do is measure it up over here. Bring it over, Makay. And so you've got a rivet hole here and a rivet hole there. You've got to be able to go over those far enough. I mean, obviously if we, let's do this.
The end. end off of that.
Let's start about there, right? And then you can come off that one hole that's already there, because you'll make a new one somewhere else. Does it line up with it?
I can line it up
Yeah,
with
just line it up with it. So that'll ball around there, and that'll come up to here, and we'll cut that off right there. And then there's a owl on the bench. You can try to get 3 of those rivets that you saved to work, and we'll be relined. We'll have transmission repurposed lining on our rear brake assembly. Nothing can go wrong now. Kind of fit here. Turn it a little.
Oh, she tight.
Where's it hanging at?
Right over here. He's just pushing it out from about here, just below that rivet. There you go.
Yeah, I think it'll go. Yeah, I'm catching here pretty good. Let's pull it back off. And we'll trim the ends just a little. Relieve it a little here. I'll get rid of some of this bulk. Fits pretty good. We got a little extra bulk there, but we'll trim it up and get the wheel on. And yeah, just chuck it up, spin it out. But yeah, you'll have to make your alternator,
Plate on there
make
too.
some kind of alternator bracket and
Yep.
support your alternator.
Why not? Everything else I have to build around this frickin' thing.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's what I've done for
pretty much
years.
it.
I've done that for years with those things.
Yep. Once you get them done, they're good.
Yep,
It's just the building of them.
yep. You just have to make it. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, that answers my questions then.
All right, man. See ya.
All right, see ya.
Bye. Cousin Paul is working on a Cummins. How's that thing work now, Makay?
You guys, do you want me to go another half a turn?
I don't know. Let's see where we're at. Pushing on the. Hold on. Let off everything. Okay. Push in on the low. It kind of has a cam over point.
Yep.
Let off. Okay. Now push on it. Pull a parking brake. Probably back just a little bit more. I think we're good to try it right there. I jammed that up, put a cotter pin back in it. I came up with this idea that I think we could run a Model T off a 9-volt battery.
Remember, you're driving. That's really cool. 2 Model Ts parked in the front yard.